What's up, guys? Sorry, we are running a little bit behind schedule, but we are live, and I'm so happy to be back on the show. So, you know the topic today. We're talking about, can you protect your family, your house? Can you protect yourself? So don't go anywhere. Join the conversation. Get in the chat rooms. Tell everybody that the show is live, and it is time to see through it all. Don't go anywhere. We're back. Welcome back. This is the See Through It podcast. I'm your host, Brian Sells. And as you see, we have a special guest, Mr. Angelo, Battle Cat Company. He is here to talk some gun rights and the nonsense that we've been seeing. How are you, sir?
Pretty good.
You good?
Yeah,
It's been a long time.
it's been a little bit.
It's been a
The
little
whole
bit.
world has completely changed.
Completely changed. Completely changed
So
from,
weird.
let me see. We did an episode on our Second Amendment rights, right?
We did.
And then, I moved. I'm here in Virginia, and then the madness just
hmm
takes off to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's been a very strange few months.
How I seen that your the battle cat is growing.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty cool. Um, there's been a lot of growth. I can't remember what month it was. I guess we must have talked around January.
January.
I think so, because I think we talked after the gun rally. That was
Yep.
January, I believe. Um, but there's been a lot of growth since then. We've done a couple gun shows, which has been amazing because we've got to actually kind of get in the mix with people right there in
Mm-hmm.
person,
Yeah,
meeting a lot of people. It's been really cool. Yeah, it's been amazing.
it's been amazing. Yeah, I've been, like I said, I follow you on there, and I just been seeing all the stuff you've been putting out, and the how the how it's just been growing. Like it's just you at seven. No, how many followers are you at? I think you celebrated
Uh,
just now, right?
yeah, we just celebrated 7,000. I think we're at like 7,100 something now,
7,100.
which is amazing. I mean, like, I'm pretty shocked by it every day. Just the fact that I get to do this now, and I get to talk to people of very like-minded every day from all over
Mm-hmm.
the country. It's really awesome. I actually did something the other day because everybody's staying at home,
Mm-hmm. Right.
so I'm just thinking of different things and try to you know keep myself busy when there's not too much to do at night or whatever. And I was looking through and I was like, I wonder how many states I've sold shirts into now. And I was going through and I was like, how many countries? And I have like this map now of all the places around the world that have Battle Cat stuff. And it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
There's only 4 states now in the United States that don't have shirts in them of
Wow.
some sort. It's really cool. I just sent one out to Japan last week, which was
Nice.
insane. That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a
That's
lot of fun.
that's fantastic, man. That's growth. Every four you missing 4 states.
Yeah, the Dakotas.
The
It's South Dakota, man. Like, get a Battle Cat shirt.
the Dakotas. I was thinking
The
like New
Dakotas.
York or
Oh, we sell a ton in New York.
wow.
Yeah.
With their strict gun laws.
Yeah, well, they're shirts.
Well,
So can't really ban
well, yeah,
shirts.
yeah. I would
There's
figure that
Americans
you.
in every state, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome,
Yeah.
man. That is
Yeah, it's
like super awesome to be able to see where your stuff is going and how
mhm.
far you're reaching past Virginia and just I mean Japan, right?
Yeah, Japan, Spain,
Wow,
Germany, all over the place. It's just, I've never even been to those places.
that's tight.
Yeah, so my shirts have gotten to go to more places than I have.
Yeah,
And I was
someone.
kind of making a joke because, we're, very small business, and sometimes the cat will go out there and help me print or whatever and hang out. So, you know,
That's tight,
he
man.
might have
I seen
sent
that
some.
you've been
Go
releasing
ahead.
like what is it? Like multiple. Because I remember before you was releasing something like it wasn't like it seemed like now you're releasing back to back to back. Is that because of
Yeah.
the?
So we brought all of our printing in-house shortly before you and I talked.
Hmm.
And we had a bit of a catalog of things that we wanted to get out. And now it kind of squashed our ability to produce for a minute. And then last month and the month before, we were basically catching up on getting all this new stuff out. And then we had a kind of a surplus of it. We're like, well, let's just put it out. Everybody's
Right.
staying at home. And they're honestly, the way I thought about it was we can slowly do this over the next few months or whatever, or we can do it all now over this month and give people something to be excited about. Because we've got all these people we've gotten to know, and everybody's at home depressed because of COVID and
Right.
whatever. It's like, let's have something that's fun. Let's have some fun over May. And, we still got some stuff that's coming that we haven't produced yet. And you're going to be seeing a lot of that over the next couple of weeks or so, months. Um, but yeah, basically it's like I need to slow down on coming up with new ideas because there's a ton of them. I love to
Yeah.
produce.
Yeah.
Um,
I definitely understand that because I've drawn up a couple stuff for my Warriors collection, but I'm still trying to figure out do I want to do it all on my own or do I want to source it out? So I'm like in between, but I have
mhm.
so many ideas and I know I need to just stick with one or two, build it, and then, bring
Yeah,
in another one, then bring in
yeah.
another one. So,
Well, it takes time. When we first started this up, it was we outsourced all the printing, and I
mhm,
had tried. Well, basically, when we first started, it was just we were just doing decals and stickers and
right.
stuff, and it wasn't really what it became. There's a whole long story as to how that happened, but from a business perspective, I wanted to make sure that we were putting out something that was just the absolute highest quality that we could. I didn't want to skimp on anything. I didn't want to,
Right.
if it's going out the door and it has anything to do with my name on it, I want it to be really good.
Yeah.
So I tried a bunch of stuff, couldn't find a solution for it that really um, checked all the boxes for me. And it kind of forced my hand to decide that we were going to go down the route of outsourcing our printing to start out with. And then once we really decided that, this has got some weight behind it, people are into this, we're enjoying what we're doing, people like it. Then we slowly have been bringing printing in house, doing it all of ourselves, and making sure that we're still putting out highest quality possible, but much more in control of what we're doing. And quality control is way higher now because every single shirt I'm quite literally touching
That's
and
good.
looking at and making sure that they're good. And if they're going out the door, if anybody's got a complaint or anything like that, which has never happened, but if they ever did, we could make sure that we could take care of it right away or as quickly as possible.
That's
Um,
fantastic.
that's with um, quality wise. I've had a couple things go missing in the mail, but we just sent another one out
Yeah.
because I mean that's not a damn mail, man.
The mail is tricky. I had to deal with
It's
that.
crazy.
The mail is very tricky.
It
But
is.
enough with, you know, our brand. Let's get into the topic with
Absolutely.
all the madness and the outcry for restriction of owning guns and all this other stuff. How do you feel with the current environment? Well, first, the Michigan, where people showed up to the Capitol demanding to be free, to be able to move around and to be free, basically. How do you feel about
Um,
them showing up to the Capitol with their guns and
so I'll preface it this way. I honestly, I don't know all the ins and outs of the political environment in Michigan.
mm-hmm,
I don't. I'm from Virginia. I know what it's like here. I know my culture here. I know, the nuances of living in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
So my opinion on it is based on my own experiences. It's really what it comes down to. So that's all. Anything I say, that's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I understand the desire to want to be free and want to go back to work and want to be able to live your life the way that you see fit. And I understand them going and protesting. That said, I do not think that
It's hard.
diminishing the severity of the disease that or the illness that's spreading is something that we should downplay.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's been all kinds of um, different reports saying different
Right.
things. Everything. It's insanity. It's
Yeah.
like this is an Orwellian orgy. It's just like you can't believe the news on one channel, the next channel says something. I just don't even know what's going on.
Right.
I mean, I know personally somebody that's gotten COVID and got very sick, and they were young and they were in the hospital. And I know that person. They're up. I know them personally. Like,
Mm.
I can't ignore that. You
Right.
know, but I certainly understand. And you know, I'll be frank with you. This whole COVID thing, this shutdown, the way it's played out, I don't have another job now. I used to before all this. I had a day job.
Mm-hmm.
Was able to have a paycheck coming in outside of what I'm doing with my business, and that allowed me to put food on the table and pay our bills and do that. That's gone
Right.
because of this, and it's not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just shut down temporarily. It's basically this whole thing essentially ruined, our business. And I'm sure that there's people all over that are in that situation as well, do not have any sort of secondary income or some other way of feeding their family, and are very scared. And I completely understand that.
Right. Yeah.
But I don't necessarily think that that's in any way a gun rights issue. I think that's just a human rights issue, civil
Right.
rights.
So when that happened, I was in the middle. I didn't really know how to feel because the frustration that people are dealing with. They they don't have any money. They can barely put food on the table. Not even to mention the fact that the prices on food is like skyrocketing. It's going up, and you don't have any money for that. Unemployment's not coming in, and so many things. I I go back and forth. I do feel like they didn't need to take the weapons up there. It um I think there was another way, but I don't think that justifies people to say, you know what, we need to take weapons away because people showing up to the Capitol with with weapons. You
Were
know,
they saying they were going to take weapons away? Did I miss
what?
that?
No, they didn't say that. They were
Okay.
regular people. The general population wanted. This is the reason why we don't need to have weapons because people are showing up to the Capitol, intimidating people with their weapons. You know.
Yeah, and I certainly think, I can understand somebody, from the outside looking into gun ownership and seeing people go into a Capitol with firearms, protesting, wanting to go back to work, how that's maybe a little bit over top. I don't really necessarily think that if it were me, I would be showing up to the Capitol with my ARs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see the point. Like, it's not like I can understand. I certainly understand,
Yeah.
but I just don't know if those two things really even go
Right.
together. And I certainly could be missing information. I've been working so hard in the past few months on just simply running my business and working that I haven't been able to, read every single article. So if I'm missing something, I'm open to that. But um, protesting just a protest, or just without, adding in the mix of firearms to it certainly might have had a better response. But I'm not saying don't show up carrying concealed. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
protect yourself, but
Right.
you don't need to make a big show out of it to for shock factor is really
Right.
what that's
Yeah.
the part that annoys me when these sorts of things. It always ends up being a shock factor situation where people, it just, it paints us in a bad way.
Yeah.
Um, and it creates more,
Tensions.
um, huh?
Tension.
Tension and division.
Yeah. Tension. Yeah.
Um,
Division.
Now that all said, seeing everything that's been going on over the last week, I really, if I hear people talking about how we don't have a reason for owning AR-15s, I mean, that's a pretty serious thing to point at and say, this is why you need to own an AR-15.
Well,
This is a reason,
that's
you
our
know?
next point. So let's go ahead and jump into it with the current events and everything that's been taking place. We've seen the protests. It started out peaceful. It
Hmm.
was, it was at the beginning of the protest. It was beautiful. We had everyone from different walks, from everywhere, different races, walking, protesting this, and it was being a it was making an impact. And then
Hmm.
the nonsense took over, and innocent people couldn't defend themselves. And when I
Yeah,
saw all that, I was like, this is why you need to have protection. This is why you need to have the right to own a weapon, because you have no way to defend yourself. And there was
yeah,
people, and it's crazy how the media hasn't even brought that up, or how no one else has brought that up to be like, this is the reason why we need gun ownership.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first off, I think what happened to George Floyd is, to begin with, I don't think this conversation can happen without addressing that.
Mm-hmm.
And, I've been talking to police officers just because of what I do. And I have friends that are police officers, and every single one of them I've talked to has been just appalled by that behavior,
Mm-hmm.
that they did that to him. I, I've done a number of different combatives things in my life, jujitsu and Krav and all kinds of stuff. And, you know, I can't see a single reason why that officer couldn't have figured out another way of controlling that situation
Mm-hmm.
without putting his knee on the man's neck.
Mm-hmm.
I just, it's horrifying to me that that happened, to be honest with you.
Right.
And I think that, the repercussions of that very well could have been a, I guess, a reorganization or a reassessment of police training and police values and those sorts of things. Um, but the way that it panned out and just the violence that ensued afterwards, I think there's a really big reflection from that on culture in general
Yeah.
within our country, and the way that we're thinking as a nation.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I wrote something about it earlier today on our Instagram for Battlecat, but it almost feels like, and it's related also to what we were just saying about protesting at the Capitol, but there's a feeling that people crave the most extreme reaction they possibly can to things. They want extremism.
Mm.
And I'm just a dude in Virginia, but that's what I'm seeing is that, people just go way over the top with things.
Yeah.
If you're going to protest, but it seems like maybe 10-20% of the people protesting actually cared about what was happening, and the rest of them just wanted to, anarchy and
Mm-hmm.
chaos and destruction.
Yeah.
And that's just wrong. And if you're living in an environment where you simply just want to live your life and be able to put food on the table, and like myself, I run a business. My family, like I was saying, our business closed up because of the whole COVID thing, but before that we were just running a family business. And you know to have somebody decide for you that it's time for all your windows to be broken and all of your merchandise or all of your equipment to be destroyed because of something that happened that's completely unrelated to you or to anyone in your business, like, you absolutely should be able to defend yourself from that, because that's no longer a protest to help anybody or help any cause. That's just simply destroying people's lives.
I definitely agree. Like, there was no, when I saw that, and then I saw people encouraging it and saying, "Well, what else are they supposed to do?" Well, there's tons of other things you could have done. You, first of all, you could have organized and strategized and figured out what you needed to do, but to be destroying people's business and attacking people at the same time, uh, I don't. I know I posted something on Facebook, and it was about the looters, and um, I said that if someone came into the, came into my business, that was gonna be it. If you forcefully came into my business, that was gonna be it. There was no way I was gonna allow you to destroy what I built. Um,
Hmm.
that was gonna be the end, and I feel like this is like the proving grounds of why we need to be able to protect ourselves. I saw a video of this man and his wife. They were at their store, and the woman came outside, and I don't know what she was saying, but I'm gonna assume that she was telling them to stop or whatever, and then they attacked her,
Hmm.
and they threw her into the wall. They was punching her and all that, and the husband came out with a golf club, and I think he swung it one time, and that was it. And
Hmm.
all you can hear him say is, "Get off my wife." If he had a weapon, a gun, I'm pretty sure that falls apart. They're not attacking her, and I mean they was on her for about, it seemed like an eternity. It was
Hmm.
horrible. No one helped her. It was like four of
Hmm.
them, and he couldn't. It was sick.
Yeah. You know,
It was sick.
I posted something the other day. Uh, it's a quote from a book called The Gulag Archipelago, which is an account. I'm going to totally butcher the man's name, but it's Alexander Solzhenitsyn. He survived the gulags in Russia and experienced basically the darkest part of humanity. That, I mean, these are things that we don't really learn much about in school. I think a lot of people know what the gulags were and those kinds of things,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't really quite understand the full horrific nature of what that was. And one of the quotes from that book that has truly, I think, is relevant right now, and this is just paraphrasing, but he basically said that the lines between good and evil do not cross political parties or anything of that nature, and it crosses directly through um, the hearts of every single person, because the difference between good and evil, it's in every single one of us.
Mm,
um, and we're seeing that playing out now.
absolutely.
We're seeing truly evil acts on the streets, and these people, whoever they may be, 3 weeks ago, I think in a lot of cases may not have even considered themselves capable of doing the things that they're doing now.
Mm, okay.
And it's simply because when you get a group of people together and there's a lot of anger, or there's a lot of emotions, and there's a lot of hyping each other up, I think we as humans react to that and may do things that we wouldn't think we were capable of, and we're
Mm-hmm.
only able to do them because of our environment. We're only not doing them because of the environment that we're in. Um, and we need to be aware of that,
Mm-hmm.
that evil in the world is not something that is foreign to people. It's just regular people,
Mm-hmm.
regular individuals that are angry for some reason, and maybe missed something um, growing up that would have stopped it, or whatever it may be. And that's how things kind of go downhill, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but things go downhill very quickly.
No,
We're seeing it now. It's like I can't even imagine witnessing some of the videos I've seen in the last 48 hours a couple of weeks ago. Like I can't believe it's real. Like I was watching a video of somebody just running down a cop with a car the other
oh
day.
yeah, I
I saw
saw
him
that.
bounce off the windshield. Like that's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Like these are just normal people,
normal people.
committing just heinous acts of violence.
Yeah, I I seen a video last night. Oh, actually, this morning, and it was that officer that you posted on the for your
David
Instagram
Dorn.
post. Yeah,
Yeah, that.
and that video, it like I felt sadness and I felt rage. Like, what is going on?
Hmm.
Like he was trying to protect the store, and him being he's a former police chief, right?
Hmm.
And I
Yes.
guess he didn't have his weapon on him, and they took his life and just left him there on the ground to die. Like,
Yeah, and that's for me, I feel like this is an area where it's difficult for me to talk about because I'm a white man in America. Like, but everybody, and I care about, a lot of my friends are black. A lot of people that I consider family are black, and they're saying Black Lives Matter, but that man he was just a black man in the neighborhood, and they killed him
yeah,
over a Black Lives Matter protest. And
yeah.
I don't understand how that makes sense. I don't know how to reconcile that.
No,
Like that's somebody's grandfather and father. Like he's dead because of that, because of rioting for in the name of peace and justice for black people. He's
right.
dead. That doesn't make any
It doesn't
sense.
make any sense. And I don't mean to cut you off, but
No, it's okay.
just because you're white doesn't mean you don't have a voice. And we,
Mm,
for years and years and centuries and years, the black community has cried out about not having a voice. So it would be
mhm,
wrong to silence a whole race because we don't feel like they should talk or whatever the case may be.
mhm.
And that's the problem. Like we want to divide. Like we got to stop the division. The division has to stop. We should all be, in this current situation. I can understand saying, you know what, if people, yes, let's listen. Let's hear what's going on and figure out what we need to do. But to say that you don't deserve to say anything or have any
Mhm.
input, I
Yeah,
don't
it's
like
just
that.
it's no, and I know that I can say, my opinion. It's just
Hmm.
that when you say your opinion on things nowadays, there's so many people that could possibly hear it in a way that is not how it is meant, and then you just get twisted up.
Yeah.
Like, for example, a couple days ago, I'm sure you've heard this whole Boogaloo thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that my understanding of that, being a gun guy, is it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek sort of joke.
Hmm.
Maybe some people take it really seriously, but it's more of they're talking about a revolution kind of
Hmm.
a thing because people feel really oppressed. And I don't think that that's a race thing at all. I think it's all people feel somewhat oppressed, and they've created this dumbass boogaloo thing, and a
Hmm.
lot of gun guys joke around about it. So we made a shirt that said "Welcome to the Boogaloo," and it's got a skull guy with an AR-15. It's
Yeah,
a
I
more
seen that.
playful thing. I think 99% of people understand what the message is there and aren't going to freak out about it and think it's something else. 2 days ago, I get a message from somebody asking if BattleCat is a white nationalist company or a page or something. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Where the hell is that coming from? White nationalist because it says Boogaloo. And then I'm looking up online, and apparently people are associating that with white nationalism now.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm uninformed. I don't know. But I remember when people started saying that I was hearing it from people of all different kinds of ethnicities talking about the Great
Wow.
Boogaloo or whatever. And oh my God, it's like, again, it's like we're living in 1984. It's just words are, changing meanings left and right.
Yeah,
And
constantly.
you can cut up words that people are saying and you make them sound horrible if you put them together a certain way. Like
Yeah,
it's such a difficult thing. And again, yesterday I posted something, or it might have been the day before, about it was a meme about uh the Antifa threatening to go into suburbs.
mm-hmm.
Maybe you saw this, I don't
Yeah, I
know,
saw
but
that
they
one.
were, yeah, and somebody made this long post saying that, and whenever I read these things, I take it as you're saying that me and my company represent killing sprees, because this person was saying that we want a killing spree and we want to hurt oppressed people, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, that is not what's going on here at all. Like, this is a joke about, or not even necessarily a joke, but like, people are going to come into suburbs and there's going to be people that are going to defend their homes regardless of race. Like,
Yeah,
you can't go into
regardless.
people's homes. And I'm like, what is going on? So I ended up taking that one down just because I felt like that's not the message that I want anybody to receive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually glad you and I are talking today, because that's just not what I'm about, or what our company's about. I'm wearing a shirt right now that says Sic Semper Tyrannis on it, which is the motto on the state flag of Virginia, which is thus always to tyrants. And
Mm-hmm.
tyrants are not just kings.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrants are people that want to oppress people. That man that put his knee on um, George's neck was a tyrant.
Mm-hmm.
The people that want to take away our rights are tyrants. The people that want to silence people because, of their race or because of whatever else, those are
Right.
tyrants. Like, it's not what we're about. Um, but anyway, I'm sorry, going on a tangent.
No, this is cool.
Uh,
That is cool. Like
I'm a little
things,
fired up.
people, you need to be able to express what you're feeling, as long as you're not projecting evil or, projecting, hatred on anyone. You're
Mhm,
expressing and explaining things, and how your company is, and what your ideals are, because there's a lot of assumption, a lot of people guessing, and,
mhm.
and just saying, what, that person, they're white, he has a gun, he's a racist, racist.
It's
Just,
fascinating how that happens.
just,
And fortunately, I think we've done a really good job of being so open with people and being so accessible. Even though, I mean, this is a very small company. Like, we're still starting out. We haven't hit 1 year yet,
mm-hmm,
uh, and we rarely ever get anything negative. And I think the reason being is that we're so transparent. Um, I I honestly, like, I grew up in a neighborhood with people of all different races. Like, I lived in kind of a lower income area, and my best friends were the kids in the neighborhood, and we would just, like, we were all, equals. Like,
mm-hmm,
I never even thought, and maybe this is the whole thing people talk about when it comes to white privilege, but I didn't think of people that way. I thought of them as my friends.
oh, okay,
I never cared what somebody's skin color was, because they were my friends. They were the people that I lived next to, and or went to school with, or later on, like, I was in a band with people of different races and stuff, and it's like, it's just not something that I personally attribute to something as being a hierarchy. Like, it's like, it just doesn't matter, and I don't agree at all with people that think that way. I think that racism is massively uh, juvenile.
mm-hmm,
It's just silly.
yeah, I
So,
agree, I agree.
so when it
This whole
comes to gun
episode,
rights, I think everybody should have a gun to be able to protect themselves, because there's people out there that want to take from you
they want to take
because of
from you.
reasons that are very silly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and you should definitely be wanting to protect your home, to protect your family, to protect yourself, because like you just went through, like there's so many people out there that are just feeling or being emotional and will attack you for, if they think you're a racist, or if they thinking if they want whatever you have. You should be wanting to protect yourself. And I
Mhm.
hope, with all what the current elections that have taken place, that people have woken it up, and seen what's been taking place in America. That, hey, things are getting dangerous. There's
Yeah.
more. There's so much evil, and nonsense just flowing that I need to protect myself, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't, it when I saw all those videos and all those pictures, it's just like, there's no way they're going to be able to, justify taking those rights. If somehow the people allow that to happen, then I don't even know. I don't even
Well,
know.
I don't either. It doesn't take that much effort to crack open a history book or even just simply turn on the news and look at the things that have happened to people that don't have the ability to protect themselves, like what you were talking about, that family outside of their, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, their business and with the golf club.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw one recently that was very similar to that, but these two guys came out of the store with shotguns. And you heard it was actually on the news, and the news reporters were saying, where were the cops that were here 5 minutes ago? And you're watching these men with shotguns get these guys that were about to go into their store to go and leave. Not a shot was fired.
Mm.
They weren't, standing there much longer than they needed to because these men came out to defend themselves with the proper arms to be able to do so. Um, and it's just so funny that they said, where are the cops?
Being
They're not
attacked,
there.
they're
You know,
definitely not there.
I'm talking to, a police officer the other day and just asked him how they're doing. He said that a couple days ago, I guess it was Saturday night, that him and his partner are surrounded by at least 80 people.
Wow.
It was just him and his partner. And I, I don't know how they got fortunate enough to be able to just not be beaten to
Attacked or
death
beaten to
in that
death. Yeah.
situation, and he said they then moved on and just started destroying the block up, I guess a block away from or something like that, burning down cars and everything. They got really lucky. It's
Wow.
like, that's where the cops are when things get really bad. Like, we're all people. We all have to be able to, survive, and they can't
Mm-hmm.
be everywhere.
Right.
You look at the LA riots,
Mm-hmm.
uh, shop owners on their rooftops having to defend their businesses and their livelihood. That's real.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, I
it's
remember
just
that
crazy, man.
'92 riot. They showed the Koreans on top of the buildings with their
Yeah,
guns to protect their neighborhood. Like,
yeah, the rooftop Koreans.
yeah.
I saw some pictures recently of I guess a new wave of rooftop Koreans in LA that are doing the same thing again, because
Wow.
that's, when it comes down to it, end of the day, you're responsible for you. No one else is coming.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to defend yourself and take care of yourself.
Exactly. And we're not saying that if you own a gun that you should be hunting people down or looking, to
Absolutely not.
show
No,
someone that I have. That's not the purpose of
no.
having a weapon.
I got into shooting before I got into any sort of martial arts, and I didn't carry until after I got into martial arts. And the reason that I did it that way, or I guess maybe it fell together that way, was because the reason that I carry a firearm is because I want to be able to defend myself and those around me,
Mm-hmm.
but I really don't want to use it.
Right.
Like, I really don't want to ever have to go to my gun, ever.
Right.
Like, I love shooting. I love going to the range. I love training. I love being prepared. I'm never going to diminish that. That's massively important, but I never want to have to go to it. So for myself, I've created layers of responses. I try to read books on like human behavior so I can
Mm-hmm.
understand, how people think, to some degree. I'm not a genius or anything like that, but I understand, how to read a person, and, like,
Right.
somebody's angry or whatever, like
Mm-hmm.
different signs that you can kind of pick up. I'm like, I should probably not go over there, or, I should maybe keep
Yeah.
some distance
Yeah.
from this person. And um, but it's like there's escalation of force, and, we expect that from our police, but we should also expect that of ourselves, as firearms owners. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're training, or I'm sorry, if you own a firearm and you're not training, you're not doing it right.
Right. You're not
If
being
you're not,
responsible at all.
if you have no idea anything about any sort of hand-to-hand combative sorts of anything. Pick something that works. I'm not saying go to, the Tiger Den kids karate place. Go to a jujitsu gym or something
All
and,
right.
and learn a little bit so you can have some layers so you don't just react and immediately go to the only thing that
Yeah.
you know and start shooting people.
Per- that is
That's not right.
perfect. Perfect because it teaches you some self-control and being able to control your emotions and evaluate what's going on so you can see like, do I need to go over there? That feels and look like that might be a volatile situation.
Hmm.
I can stand back and watch it, or just disappear instead of putting yourself in that position to where now we're questioning your intentions.
Yeah.
So
And even more so than that, you've been to some degree inoculated to violence, in a good way. I think that, people that they say like people aren't affected by violence because of violent video games. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is you've been maybe punched in the face before. You've been, choked or whatever. You've
mm-hmm.
experienced these feelings of somebody trying to commit violence upon you within training, so that the first time that somebody swings on you and hits you in the fuck, can I curse on your podcast? Does that matter? I
We
don't
try
know.
to keep it PG, but
I try not to, but if
I don't
somebody,
want to censor people's free speech. I'm not YouTube or Google
it's
or anything
tough
like
to
that.
it's tough to talk about these things for me without, kind of getting a little bit more raw with it. But, if the first time you're getting punched in the face is on the street in a violent altercation and you have a gun and you have no other way of defending yourself, you are likely going to go and do something that's maybe not necessary. Or it's not even if somebody hits you, if somebody is acting violently towards you and your only answer is to go to a firearm, you're missing so many levels of what it means to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so not only just owning a firearm, but you got to be able to train. And one of the things that was happening back in the when they were talking about the bans in Virginia was banning, to some degree, banning training.
Mm.
They were calling it, I guess maybe the term now is warrior training or something like that. I can't remember all this stuff. I think they're talking about banning it from police now. Um, it's just crazy to me. I mean, you need to be able to use your arms, literally these arms, and then your firearms correctly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You should definitely be able to use your arms to diffuse the situation until you feel like your life is in harms, like been really threatened. I like that. Both arms. Yeah, you should
Yeah,
definitely be able to use them. But
yeah.
yeah, we're in a crazy situation, and I hope things. Well, I hope people eyes are open, and they don't allow the media to trick them into giving up their rights, or allow a politician to trick them to be like, you know what, it's not a bad idea. I don't need protection. I can use the police officers. They can protect me. And that's not the case. They're being attacked, and they're
The
not going
one
to be
thing
at your house.
yeah, and there's a reason why. uh, I don't know if it's the majority, but it sure is a lot of police officers are very much in support of the Second Amendment, as well as military. And if you think about it, like these guys that do those kinds of jobs, especially like, infantry and those kinds of, street cops that are
Mm-hmm.
in those kinds of environments a lot, they're seeing oppression, they're seeing people being hurt. And I can't help but ask, why are those people in support of your average civilian being able to own firearms?
Mm.
But the people that are in, for lack of a better word, very much sheltered are the ones that don't understand the reason for it.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I totally agree. We need more training. It needs to be
Hmm.
pushed. It needs to be, a guideline, a policy. I don't I don't even know how you would implement that to make sure someone has some type of training in their
Well, I don't
firearms. And
necessarily think I don't think that you can. I think that's a very difficult topic because on one hand, I personally, for Angelo Soares of Paddle Cat Company, I think if you're going to own a gun, you should probably go get training. But I do not think that we should make it. I don't think we should touch the Second Amendment
Mm-hmm.
at all,
Right.
any more than it's already been completely just stripped down. I don't think that it should be like, you have to go and check all these boxes to be able to own a gun, because there's so many situations that, that just don't match that. That's a
Right.
God-given right. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, I guess what I'm saying is that us as gun owners, we have to simply patrol ourselves better. We have to, if we're going to decide to live a life of being an asset and being prepared and being a firearms owner, that comes with a lot of things that aren't just buying a gun. It's knowing how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to say you can't own a gun unless you do X, Y, and Z, because that's not what I think.
Oh
I
yeah,
think that,
no. So I was
yeah,
saying after, like, if you get the weapon, you should somehow. I don't know if they should enforce it, but they should recommend it. Throw the recommendation. I recommend you do some hand to hand combat, or you know, do something else along with this. Maybe not, pull it as a rule or a law, but yeah, I
yeah,
definitely agree not to touch the Second Amendment because I know Massachusetts, or was it Massachusetts? I forgot the state, but their their timeline for getting a gun or permit or a license is almost up to 2 years, where they have to like they cross checking things, and
hmm
by that time you
yeah. I
can
don't
be
agree with
someone
that.
can broke into your house,
Yeah,
took
I think,
everything.
I just simply think that if you look at the world, I'm just going to use jujitsu as an example. Generally speaking, dudes that are into jujitsu are into jujitsu, and then gun guys are into guns. And there is a crossover. There are guys that are into both. I
Mm-hmm.
happen to be one of them. Um, but I think that as the gun community, I think that we should really like go look at that stuff a bit more and realize how much the mindset and the problem solving of those things play into even just being a good shooter, and maybe kind of work together a little bit more. And I
Mm-hmm.
think we're seeing that a lot. There's a lot more people that are interested in, you know, I know Jason Kelly. He I'm totally C2T. If Jason, I don't know if you're listening, but if you are, I screwed up your company's name. I apologize.
No problem.
But he works a lot with different shooting schools and goes around and teaches them, hand to hand things like different ways of controlling individuals if you get in an entanglement, as well as concealed carry tactics, those kinds of things. I know my buddy John Valentine. He has a lot of combatives courses in Texas that are very relevant to this, and he's also a serious gun guy. Like, it's the whole picture, and I could rattle off all these schools. Like, there's a bunch of them out there. We try to, as Battlecat, we try to share a lot of these courses coming out because we truly believe that this is a part of what we stand for as a brand, is being ready in all regards.
Mm-hmm.
That's shooting, fighting, medical, driving. Like, it's hard to find a good defensive driving school as a civilian, but
Yeah.
if I can find a good one, I tell you what, I'm going to be taking that course and I'm going to be promoting it. Like, we got to be able to take care of ourselves and those around us. Like, and I think there's a lot of schools like that, like John's school, Hill Country Combatives, also Redbeard Combatives. Um, there's a company called Spotter Up. They work with a lot of these guys. They're very they have a lot of blogs and those kinds of things that you
Mm-hmm.
should definitely check out, um, as well as Green Ops. And if you follow us on Instagram, you'll
Yeah.
probably see
Follow
us
them.
sharing a lot of Green Ops. Those guys are one of the best schools that I've ever trained with for firearms, hands down.
Hmm.
Um, they have a very they're very approachable. I've done a lot of courses where it's like it's very aggressive and kind of, it's a little off-putting for, like, if you think of it from the perspective of a new shooter,
Yeah.
like to go to a course and you got this guy screaming at you and all these stories about how he killed people or whatever in Fallujah, and just, like, all this like crazy aggressive stuff. And like for myself, it doesn't affect me, but I'm thinking like a new shooter, like that might be a little
Yeah.
much.
That might. Yeah.
But Green Ops is they're probably my favorite school to train with because um, it feels like more of honestly, it feels more like a family environment when you go and train with them. They teach you. It's a place for learning. And every time I've trained with them, my own personal, bullshit that I bring to the table with myself, I have to be honest on the range with myself because of the way that they teach. I find it to, I've actually learned a lot, going to them for different classes that I haven't picked up on my own shooting from other courses that I've taken. And they're very much into bringing in the combative side of things too.
That's good.
And I think that that's a good source for people to go to find their first steps into gun ownership and be a gun owner. Because I think we're probably going to get a lot of new gun owners pretty soon with
Hmm.
all this stuff going
Yeah,
on,
they
man.
said tons of guns have been sold throughout this time frame, and I
Hmm.
believe it because I mean, if you don't have no way to protect yourself, it's scary. Like someone could kick in your door or break through your window, and
Yep,
the
it's
cops are
true.
not gonna be there fast enough. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna
Yeah.
do? So that was great, man. That was great. So, folks, the question: think about it. Can you protect your family? Can you protect your house? Can you protect yourself? Can you protect the people around you? Are you your brother's keeper? You should be. Can you be with a golf club? You can't. You can't. I felt so bad for him because I mean, I couldn't be me. I watching my wife just get. Don't be that guy.
Mm-mm.
That's
I
horrible.
mean, just I see these things like I didn't see that one, but I can imagine. I've seen other videos similar to that, and I picture myself or somebody that I care about in that position, and you feel it. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I was watching David Dorn, that video, like imagine that's your father, laying
Mm-hmm.
there on the ground, taking his last breaths like that, completely surrounded by strangers, having just been shot because of the looters. He was doing good. He was doing good for the community by being out there, and he died for it.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine that that's somebody that you know. And if that's not enough inspiration right there to figure out your situation and the things that you're doing within your own house, firstly on all levels, not just on a defensive level, but everything that you're doing, I think that this is a time to really reflect on who we are as a people and what we're
Absolutely.
doing to better the direction of the human race, or I mean, simply just the way we interact with each other.
Yeah.
But
It's a crazy world.
it's just heavy, man.
It
It's
is.
hard to like. I'm trying to talk about this right now. It's honestly hard to put together a to articulate a thought right now. It's like it's just so heavy. Like I remember, I'm sorry to take up all this time on your podcast, man,
No
but like
problem,
I
brother.
remember when I first really started training, I was it was right around San Bernardino. Um, when that happened, that shooting happened, those people went into that business and officers started shooting people up.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the gym and I called it it was funny. I actually called it the crab pit because this gym I went to, there's a lot of bodybuilders and they look like little crabs running around lifting stuff. Um, but I called it the crab pit because, and I was standing away from it and they had the numbers of the people that died. I think it was like 12 or 13.
Uh-huh.
Um, at that time, I can't remember what the final total was. It's so long ago, but I remember counting them out, like 13 or 12 people in the room, and looking at what that looks like, what 13 people look like right in front of you. That's a lot of people.
Right.
And imagining seeing 13 people dead on the floor because some lunatic decided to come in there and shoot up the place. And for me, that was the moment that I decided that if I was ever in a situation where something like that was happening, at the very least, I would be 10% more prepared than the rest of the room. That's the goal. I carry now. I train regularly. I go and I continue to study these things because I want to be able to be the difference, or at least an attempt at being the difference that isn't just some sort of fantasy pipe dream,
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, I carry a gun, I'll blast them with the 45 and it'll be end of it. That's not how violence works.
Yeah.
So, when that happened, I remember very consciously then going ahead and taking my training to the next level. I started signing up for courses left and right. I took a ton of training courses ever since then, and I continue to do it now. And for me, that was the call. And maybe for somebody else, this is,
Maybe,
not necessarily our conversation, but
but
what's
yeah.
happening right now in the world will be that thing that sparks somebody else to go out and train. And if they do, like one of the things I want to do as a business is have a very easy source so they can be like, oh, I can go to these guys. I can go to, I can go talk to Green Ops or,
Hmm.
Jason or whoever, and get some training and learn how to defend yourself and your family, because you absolutely should do that. If
I
you're not into guns, go learn how to choke somebody out really well, because that works too.
yeah.
Not, maybe not quite the same, but you know,
Learn how to defend yourself at
learn how to do
somehow.
something.
Learn how to defend yourself, and I hope this show was able to bring turn that light bulb on and say, am I prepared if someone attacks me? Can what will I be able to do? Can I do anything? So I hope that light bulb went off, and in the current environment that we're in, that you're really thinking of and wanting to do something to protect the people that you hold close and dear to you. So
Hmm.
this episode was, I like it, man. We was able to know more about the Battle Cat company, know more about the owner.
We got a lot coming, man. We're gonna keep going. There's gonna be a lot more Battle Cat stuff.
A lot. Way we gonna do a lot more then, because we got to get the information out there. We got to get people's eyes open. Got to make sure our rights are not taken from us, and liberties and everything, because it's getting crazy out here. It is definitely getting crazy out here. So tell the people, where can they find your stuff? How can they contact you?
Well, we're on Instagram and Facebook, battlecat_co, and then of course battlecatco.com.
You on Facebook
Uh,
now?
I've been on Facebook for a while.
I didn't know you was on Facebook.
Yeah,
Oh,
we don't
okay.
do so good on Facebook. I don't know why, but we're mostly on Instagram. Uh,
Okay.
but battlecatco.com is, you can get all of the shirts and hats. I'm wearing a. I'm not going to take this off for long, but we got these new
I
hats.
like
These
that
are
hat.
pretty cool. My hair is, I got the quarantine cut going on here. Um, Tons of shirts, sweatshirts. We recently did slide plates for
Yeah, I
Glocks, which
seen
look
that's
amazing.
nice.
Those are really cool. We're gonna have a bunch more stuff coming. I will say a lot of things that we talked about today, there are people out there that are significantly more knowledgeable than I am.
Hmm.
Again, there's links to them, and I personally trust them and their word. And I go and I train with them. The guys at Spotter Up, the guys at Green Ops, Redbeard Combatives, Hill Country Combatives, Light Horse Tactical. List goes on. They're very involved with that, the training world on Instagram. If you want to find out more about that, go to those guys.
If you're definitely interested, look that stuff up so you can be more prepared and more, you know, confident in your training, or in your, like, of holding a weapon, being able to know
Hmm.
how to diffuse a situation instead of being scared. Because one texter said, like, you can't have people out here with weapons, like you said also, that are scared, and they're just shooting or don't even know what they're doing. So,
Hmm.
if you can get the training, if you read up on it or whatever, just make sure you're prepared and confident in the weapon that you have, and you're able
It's
to take
also
care.
fun, you
It
know.
is.
It's a good time. You get when you get out there and you get, maybe, like, I always try to think about this from the perspective of like a new shooter, but like you go to the range and you learn how to shoot. You take a course after the first 15 minutes of maybe hearing guns for the first time, and you start to relax. It's a great time. Like you meet a bunch of awesome people. One of my best friends I met at a course. We talk like every single day. He's one of the closest people to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a whole world of people out there, and I think a lot of people that don't shoot would be surprised by how unbelievably accepting that culture is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think we're painted as being something we're absolutely not.
Yeah,
Like
there's a
I see
crazy stigma on that.
there, I don't know where the racism thing comes from, man. Just being like within that world of like the Second Amendment community, like unless I'm just somehow just in like an island of really nice shooters, it's crazy to
I don't
me.
know where it came from.
I always think about that Virginia rally, man. Like I went down there with, you know, a couple of police officers that were standing side by side with us, protecting gun rights. One of them was Vietnamese. There's, people of all different cultures and ethnicities all around us. Like, I remember you messaged me like
Mm-hmm.
to get a picture, and I was just trying to take pictures of the crowd while I was there. And like, if you look in, like, there's people of all different
Yeah.
ethnicities,
I.
because the right to defend yourself is not relevant to your skin color or religion. It is a human right,
Mm-hmm.
and the firearm is the great equalizer.
Yes, it
It's
is.
the perfect tool for good, and it can be used for bad things too.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But typically, those types of things get ended by somebody also with a firearm with a good heart.
Yeah. We had a texter come in from Miss Cassie. She said, "Well, can I train at my age?" And
Yes,
she's
I
young.
don't know how old she is, but yes,
She's a mom. She's a grandmother, but she's young at heart, and she's wondering can she train at that age. And I'm pretty sure if you want to train,
absolutely.
you can.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you
You
can.
absolutely can. Not only that, but I have heard of people well into like their 60s, 70s, 80s training in jujitsu, like brand new white belts at like, 70 years old. Like, it's for
73, she
everybody.
says. She says.
Firearms are, yeah, if you're in my area, you can come shoot with me.
Miss Cassie said she is
Absolutely.
73 years old. So yes, you can train. If you want to train, you definitely can train.
For
So
sure.
it's a good thing, just at least getting the basics. You don't have to go super tactical, you know.
Yeah. No, you don't need to be running around with plate carriers and sliding around VTAC areas or anything like that if you don't want to, but you should. It's for everybody.
Yeah, so you can definitely change. Train. So let me run through my contact information. Don't go anywhere, folks. Oh, okay, so here we go. Contact information. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and follow the channel. Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down. If you give me a thumbs down, I just want to know why. Leave it in the comments. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Freedom of choice, freedom of speech. Just let me know why. PayPal if you like to purchase any of my items. I don't even know why I mentioned that because I don't even have any items right now. I'm still waiting on inventory and things like that. But you can follow me at SeeThroughIt1 on Twitter, Facebook.com/STIPODCAST. Give the page a like, a follow. If you're on Instagram, follow me on Instagram at Brian Sales. And if you want to email me at SeeThroughItPodcast@gmail.com. And for all the people that don't like watching videos and, you know, here's the audio. I got the audio up. I'm working on Apple Podcasts, Anchor.fm. You can catch the show there. You can listen on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and Breaker. Still waiting on confirmation from Apple. I don't know when that'll update, but as soon as that gets updated, I will have that on this screen and we will go from there. My supporters, they always, tell me I don't have to, but I'm grateful and I appreciate what you guys are doing for the show and have done for the show. So Mr. White, thank you again. Thank you again. Out there in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, if you need any type of service to your vehicle or anything, if you just want to go by and say hi, tell them I said that I sent you to say hi. So go by and say hi. And Miss Cassie for her contributions to the show. Such a great woman. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, Angelo, thank you for coming on the show, man.
Thank you,
I
man. It's a
greatly
lot of fun.
appreciate it. Greatly appreciate it. We
Anytime.
definitely going to have to do this again, and maybe we can do like a show on how to start up your own business out of your garage, Bill Gates style version, Angelo.
Oh my goodness. Bill Gates style as I look around, and that's not, man, I wish.
We can figure out a
Uh,
way to figure out a way to title it.
yeah, I mean, honestly, like I have not done a ton of like, speaking
Hmm.
like to people. It's totally foreign to me. I would love to talk more to the followers of Battle Cat. Like if they want to talk and find out some stuff, I'd love to do
Yeah,
that. Anybody wants to submit something to Brian, what they want to talk about, I'll talk to you.
yeah.
Can have fun.
Whenever, like I said,
I might not be that pretty, but I'll be nice to you.
well, we can do something at the, at the one of your training sites. So when you don't you hold no, you say you advertise the different trainings, right?
Yeah, no, I
Okay,
don't have any. I don't teach or anything like that.
okay.
But I will absolutely guide people towards the best instructors I possibly can.
So if
I
anybody
mean, there's
wants to,
things I'd love to do. In the next COVID kind of screwed everything up, but
mm-hmm,
I have some possible, Battle Cat range day ideas and things like that for guys that are in the Virginia area.
nice,
Um, Start there, might, maybe do some traveling and train with people all over the country and have some fun.
awesome,
So
awesome.
I know you're in Virginia now, so now
Yeah,
you gotta come up.
that's, I'm definitely going to be heading that way because I'm looking for some groups. So definitely going to be headed that way, and I want to see the training. Because like, he has so much content on his Instagram page, you guys, and it's so like it's a lot of information. And if you are interested, and if you're in this area, or if you're in the surrounding cities, Maryland or West Virginia, Pennsylvania, if you want to come down and get some training, definitely can because they have tons of training, and
hmm
it would be
Green Ops,
beneficial.
they do courses in Texas and in Virginia. We're not Green Ops. Battle Cat is not affiliated,
Hmm.
other than we're friends with them and we help promote each other. And I would not promote them if I did not truly believe in what I'm saying and I did not personally train with them. Um, they are good to go. So
Battle Cat
that's where
stamp
I
of
would
approval.
start for sure.
There you go, folks. So, again, thank you for tuning in. I hope this show was had a lot of information and squash some of the I don't even know what to call it, the
Misconceptions about
misconceptions.
guns?
That's
I don't know.
there it is. The misconception. I hope a light bulb went off in your head and said, you know what? I want to protect my family and the people around me.
For sure.
That's all you need to do. So, again, thank you for watching. You guys have a good night. Remember, do not be blinded by the media. Hashtag see through it. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.